My name is Jane Schodel. I'm the lead programmer for the TIFF Special Presentation Program, and it gives me tremendous pleasure to welcome you to tonight's world premiere screening of Brother, directed by Clement Virgo. We are pleased to welcome you to the Visa Screening Room at the Princess of Wales Theatre. Thank you to our longtime major sponsor, Visa Canada. I would like to thank our lead and major sponsors, Bell, RBC, and Bulgari, for their continued support. Thank you to our major supporters, the Government of Canada, the Government of Ontario, Telefilm Canada, and the City of Toronto for their continued support. This film has been selected by the next generation of film lovers by the TIFF Next Wave Committee, supported by the Shawn Mendes Foundation, the City of Toronto, and the Ontario Arts Council. Next Wave is TIFF's year-round programming initiative for young audiences. This film is eligible for the Amplify Voices Award presented by Canada Goose and the People's Choice Award. Vote for your favorite films at tiff.net/vote. We would like to thank Elevation Pictures and Braun Releasing for providing us with this film. Thank you to them. Clement Virgo's first feature, Rude, premiered at the Cannes Film Festival in 1995 in the Uncertain Regard section, and his subsequent feature films, including The Planet of Junior Brown, Love Come Down, Poor Boy's Game, and Lie With Me, premiered at film festivals around the world, garnering numerous awards. In 2015, he directed and co-wrote a 6-part miniseries adaptation of the Lawrence Hill novel, The Book of Negroes, which debuted to record-breaking numbers on the CBC in Canada and on BET in the US, also winning numerous awards. All of which brings us to tonight's film, Brother, adapted by Clement Virgo for the screen from the novel of the same name by David Chariandy, which won the 2018 Toronto Book Award. The film stars Lamar Johnson, who was selected as a TIFF Rising Star in 2018, and can be seen in films like The Hate You Give and Native Son. It also stars Aaron Pierre, best known for his work in Barry Jenkins' The Underground Railroad, and selected as one of this year's Rising Stars at the festival. Brother is beautifully realized through thoughtful direction, beautiful cinematography, and production design. It is a powerful, healing work that underlines the need for community and kinship. We're very pleased to have the opportunity to speak with our guests after the screening, but please join me in welcoming Clement Virgo.
Thank you, Jane. You've been a champion for Brother, and thank you so much. I made my first short film in 1992. It was about 7 minutes long, and TIFF played it, and TIFF has played every one of my films ever since. So thank you. When I read Brother in 2018, it moved me deeply. David Chariandy wrote a beautiful novel, and it made me think of my own family. You know, David's novel's about immigrants from Trinidad. I'm an immigrant from Jamaica. Big up Jamaica, by the way. And I felt inspired to make it. So thank you, David, for your beautiful novel. I didn't make this film alone. I made it with other immigrants, and I would love to bring them out now. My partner, who I've worked with since we met at the CFC in 1991, the Summer Lab, Damon De Oliveira. And Escalus Poulos, come on in, come on down. immigrant from Greece. And Sonia Dorenzo, immigrant from Italy. There's some thanks that we have to make, and Damon's going to make those thanks.
Wow, this is amazing. It's taken us 3 years to come here. Producing Brother during a pandemic didn't take a village, it took a metropolis of people to make, and a lot of supporters to make the miracle happen. First, we want to acknowledge our amazing cast and crew, many of whom are in the audience tonight, who have worked tirelessly and passionately to make this film. Please, if you're here, stand up and let's acknowledge you, everyone that worked in the film. Thank you. And we're fortunate to live in a country whose government supports culture. And in acknowledging our financiers, without whom we could not have made this film, I have to thank Telefilm Canada, who has been a tireless partner, who's worked with us on every film we've ever made, and on this one as well. Their support was instrumental in making the film, so thank you. The Canada Media Fund, Ontario Creates, the Shaw Rocket Fund, and our broadcasters Crave and the CBC, as well as our distribution partners Elevation and Braun Releasing. Thank you.
We have some other guests with us. We have the amazing David Chariandy, the author of the novel. We have our cast. We have Lavelle Adam Gray as DJ Jelly. We have Kiana Madera as Aisha. We have Marsha Stephanie Blake, a fellow Jamaican. And we have Aaron Pierre from South London. And from Scarborough, Lamar Johnson. Thank you so much for coming tonight. It's beautiful to see a theater full of people. It's been 2 years and it's been a long time waiting to kind of have this happen. So thank you so much for coming out tonight. And thank you, TIFF, and we'll be here after for a Q&A. So thank you so much. All right. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for sticking around. My name is Amar Kishore. I'm part of the programming team here. Please welcome back Clement Virgo and the team from Brother. Thank you. Thank you. Well, you guys can see how everyone's feeling. You know, this was genuinely one of the most powerful, moving films we saw this year. You can see how everyone else feels about it. Clement, I would love to hear from you. Tell us about your journey to making this. How did you come to it, and how are you feeling?
It all starts with a novel written by a great writer named David Chariandy. That's where it started. You know, I read the novel and it felt familiar to me, even though it was about people, you know, people from Trinidad. It just spoke to me as a Jamaican. You know, I knew that house, I knew that family, I knew those brothers, and you know, I just wanted to make that movie desperately. And David was generous enough to, you know, give us the rights to make it.
Amazing. Lamar, Aaron. Incredible performances. Tell us about what it was like being in this film. You know, you guys feel so close to each other in the movie, and I would love to hear about, you know, what your experience was like working on the film, what rehearsals were like, all of that.
Yeah, I'm really emotional in this moment, but the experience, it was beautiful. It was such a beautiful experience to film this movie. I mean, for me, being from Scarborough, which is where the film is based and set, yeah, this moment for me is very, very special. But yeah, Aaron and I, we connected on set, and, well, offset, to be honest. We didn't have much time to actually establish a true relationship, so the time that we had, we really ran, and we were very vulnerable with one another, and, you know, shared so much together that, you know, when we got on set, it really felt very organic and very easy. You know, he's incredible, so it's not really that hard. But sorry, I'm just really emotional. I don't even really have words right now.
Aaron, you want to jump in?
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for being here and for being so open and willing to be receptive to what it is that we worked really hard on together. We really appreciate that. Working with Lamar, working with Clement, working with everybody here on this stage and beyond the stage was a tremendous privilege for me, and I learned a tremendous amount each day. I was pushed by everybody here to be brave and to be open and honest, and like Lamar said, we filmed this, you know, sort of when the pandemic was not really over. I don't even know if it's over now. But, you know, I had to quarantine for 2 weeks. And then we literally had about a week before we had to be on set. So
Wow.
we arranged a dinner. It was like, hi, my name's Aaron. This is what happened in my childhood. And it was the same for Lamar. But just thank you. Tremendous gratitude and appreciation, and I'm going to pass it over before I embarrass myself.
Yes, I'd love to hear from the rest of the cast as well. What was your experience like working on the film?
It was a beautiful experience, honestly. Every single day that I shared on set with these incredible artists, and like Aaron said, everyone beyond who's standing here on stage, was a blessing, and everything felt very divine from the very beginning. And yeah, this was our first time seeing it too. We hadn't seen it before today, so yeah.
A lot of hugs backstage, yeah.
Pardon?
A lot of hugs backstage.
Yes, a lot of hugs backstage. We spoke about this earlier. Nothing is really promised or guaranteed after our experience filming. We don't really know where the movie's going to end up or who's going to see it, if anyone at all. But I can say that the experience filming with everyone was truly so special and was fulfilling on its own. So this is just a bonus. And I'm grateful and honored to be here to experience it with all of you, and I thank God.
Marsha, Lavelle.
They made it easy. When Clement just rolls the camera and says play, you say yeah, you know? And when you have such amazing, generous, open, vulnerable artists to work with, it's not every day you get to go to work and play, you know? Thank God.
I'm not even sure how to add to any of this because it's all so resonant with me. And so, and to have this reception, I mean, this is so special. We saw it for the first time with you guys. So you are a special audience to us. It's hard to watch, but it was easy to do, if that makes sense, because everyone here came into it with the same love of the script, with the same love of the book, with a respect for these people, with a familiarity to these people. So when I went to work, I felt like I was in a safe space, and that I could go anywhere. And Clement has this beautiful, he's very soft-spoken and quiet, and he just lets us be. And it's a real gift to be able to just be as an artist, with all the trust coming from your director and your producers. And this was a gift for me. But this moment right here, like, we are so blown away by your response. But just the film, we don't, we just make something and we love it, but we have no idea what it's gonna be. And I think we're happy. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to open it up to a couple of questions. Please raise your hand. Yes, over there. So a question about, if I can just repeat it for everyone, a question about, it's ambiguous how he dies at the beginning. Can you talk a little bit about that, whether it's from the book, whether it came about in the adaptation?
Yes, I mean, I think in the book, it sort of suggests that perhaps, Francis dies when he climbs up, and David, in the novel, creates a really kind of a sense of mystery in sorry, I'm also quite emotional, a suspense in that novel. And so, from a sort of cinematic point of view, I really wanted to keep that sense of, that sense of mystery and suspense. Thank you.
More questions? Right there, yes. Yeah, can you talk a little bit about casting process, finding all these amazing folks?
Well, I was blessed with a great cast. I met Aaron in LA just before COVID, just before March 23rd, 2020, and I really loved his energy. I loved his masculinity. I love his femininity. I love his tenderness. And Lamar, for me, I really kind of needed someone who could take us through the movie, someone who we could put all of our feelings into. And he has such a great face that you could just see. You could just off his face and what he sees, and it just makes you understand what is going on inside. And Lavelle, I worked with years ago on a TV show, and when I was casting this, I thought, I'll see if he's available. And Kiana just just blew me away with her tape. She made me cry with her tape audition, and I just, and I said yes. Marsha Stephanie, she's my sister in some ways. I met her over Zoom. I saw her in a film called Loose, and she did a scene in it that is outstanding, that I thought was very brave, and that's all I needed to see. When we Zoom, Marsha's from Jamaica, I'm from Jamaica. She left Jamaica when she was 12. I left when I was 11. I'm a little bit older than her, but I didn't have to translate. I didn't have to translate a whole lot. I just had said, play your mom, play my mom, play everyone's mom. Play, and she did that, and thank you for that, Marsha Stephanie.
More questions? Please raise your hand. Right there, yes, go ahead.
So I noticed in the film there's a lot of violence, and a lot of violence against trauma. George throws the rock at the police car. And I consider sometimes that the violence we experience in our world can be an economic violence. And I wonder if there's any of that at play in what was going on in your thinking, because there is a disparity there.
So there's a question about the violence in the film. There's a physical violence, but there's also an economic violence. Can you talk about whether that was part of the thinking at all, and where that is? And
Yeah, in that moment, I think Aisha just feels that the world is against them at that point, and that includes the systems that are, ultimately in charge of their life in a lot of ways. There's a frustration, They didn't do anything wrong, but still now the community is surrounded by police cars, and it just perpetuates this narrative that we are the problem when we're not the problem. Do you know what I mean? So exactly. We try so hard to be seen as equals, to speak on a human level. He's just asking a simple question, what did I do wrong? Only to be met with violence. So there's definitely a frustration that comes from that trauma and those circumstances. And I think in that moment, Aisha just had enough, and that's how she dealt with it. We all deal with things different ways, and in that moment, that was how Aisha dealt with it.
okay,
Yeah.
we'll move on to another question.
Talk at the party.
Yes, yes, way back there. Go ahead. Yeah.
Well,
It's a fantastic question about the cinematography of the film.
you.
Can you talk about that a little bit, Clement?
thank you for that. I work with a wonderful DP named Guy Godfrey, and and also just a lot of great collaborators. Composer Todor Kobakov, costumes, Hannah Pooley. There's a whole list of people that, now that I started, I have to name them all, and I know that we have a minute. But just the crew was amazing. But we talked about, Guy and I talked about just having a kind of having the camera be muscular, and using dollies and having a lot of silence. Because for me, I wanted to get back to that sense of pure cinema. What I mean by that is just trying to tell stories just with images, and Guy was a great collaborator that way.
Fantastic. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have. Please give it up one more time for Brother.